Alrighty. Greetings. Welcome back to Blackburn News, where everything is connected. How are you all doing? What's up? Did I just post the show a little late? Is that what's going on? Or does nobody like the title? I'm being, there's 2 days in a row I've posted, my thumbnail has been, if y'all didn't get that yesterday was the thumbnail of the flat earth, I'm doing it somewhat tongue-in-cheek, if you hadn't figured that one out too. But there are some real things to talk about. There's some real things to talk about in so many ways, so many subjects, right? So yeah, it's kind of, this has become a little bit, I mean, I'm gonna go talk about some news stories, but I was just, a thing that I talk about kind of ad nauseum all the time is a difficulty for people to understand. What's up? How y'all doing? Victor, Jen, hello. Denver, I see you on Rockfin. Let's see. You're breaking down Pfizer's data, malice, fraud, concealment, conspiracy, intent. We're going to talk about that. Thank you for the link, actually. Jeez. Good link for this show, because we're going to move over to Rockfin um, earlier than later. Okay, just giving you guys a heads up. Giving you all heads up. Let's see. Well, anyways, to the original thing I was talking about, it's been a kind of a. Now, I don't think necessarily this has to do with my being extremely suppressed on YouTube and all social media platforms, but part of my difficulty in doing this channel is that there is a netherland, there's a nether region where climate change and alternative media have a very an alternative. What I mean by alternative media are people that are reporting truths outside of the mainstream narrative, right? Climate change is accepted as a mainstream narrative. However, there are big disagreements in alternative media spheres about what's actually going on, where we're at. How bad is it? What's the reality of it? How do we do, what do we do about it? Right? There's huge disagreements surrounding and there's also an acknowledgement that the mainstream media, for the most part, is not reporting on climate change correctly, right? They are suppressing the reality around climate change. And so if you understand that, if you know that, or if you know that fossil fuel companies are creating propaganda to make people, think differently around climate change, well then congratulations, you are a conspiracy theorist. Nobody on this planet is not a conspiracy theorist. Let me just state that point blank. If you think that people are crazy for believing in conspiracy theories, you are a hypocrite. You are a straight up hypocrite, and you don't know what you're talking about, because you are a conspiracy theorist as well. You believe that the powers that be are hiding things from people. They're not talking about things that should be talked about. You believe that corporations are running propaganda on people. You are a conspiracy theorist. So don't denigrate other people for believing in conspiracy theories. Maybe you just don't agree with their theories, but you have your theories too, don't you? We all do. So, let's just start there. Let's just start there. But I'm having a hard time personally, just with, they do believe in pollution. Yes. I have a hard time with just personally, one of the hardest things around doing this show is that there's this place where the two sides don't meet, right? Like, alternative media is about uncovering, the truth of really what is going on. And that just is going to, by default, include, and right now, in this day and age, I mean, if you can't see the overarching reality that, we're being lied to on a massive scale, if you can't see that, I don't know what world you're living in. If you think that, institutions are mainly good and the people in charge are, mainly good people that are just trying to do their best, and yeah, I'm sure a lot of the cogs aren't aware of their part in the machine, but the overarching reality of the machine is that, there is a lot of disinformation, subterfuge, all kinds of, games being played on people. And again, if you're a climate change believer, you totally understand completely and thoroughly what I'm talking about, because you understand, the people in charge, the IPCC is infiltrated by fossil fuel companies, and that's a conspiracy, bro. You're a conspiracy theorist. Just stop being, stop living in your ivory tower and thinking that like you're so smart because you believe in science. You're a conspiracy theorist too. Get over it. Just get over it and stop denigrating. We're all on the same side. We want the best for people, right? The people of the planet. We want people to not be lied to. We don't want to be inundated by propaganda. We don't want to be hurt and harmed by, weaponized technology, right? Or the people in charge just pushing out things on us that are eventually going to hurt us. Like, we all want the same thing. So stop thinking like these people over here are crazy conspiracy theorists and I am smart because I work for a college and I have a degree and I believe in science. No, that you're not any smarter than anybody else, dude. Chill on that. You need to take yourself down several notches if you think, oh, I got it all figured out because I don't believe in these conspiracy theories, but I really know what's going on. You might actually not know what's going on. Okay, you might know a lot, but there are probably some things you don't know about what's happening. Anyways, all that is to say, I don't know. I'm really deeply considering either starting another channel or something because I'm having a hard time. Just there. I mean, you guys are the people that follow this channel that understand this channel. You guys are great. It's just like. Everybody in alternative media or anybody who follows alternative media has just cannot get their brains or get a grip on the reality of the fact that we're destroying the planet, right? Climate change, right? Everybody climate change, ha ha ha, it's a joke. It's a joke that's going to kick you in your face. So you should probably not think that it's so funny, right? You should probably, not just go along with the crowd on that one. But it's a really hard thing to do a channel that's, kind of centered on climate change when I'm trying to talk about, real things as well, right? As far as like the news and the world and what's going on and the reality of what's happening. Like, it's hard for me to bridge that gap because I don't know. I guess I'm just gonna, for the moment, I'm gonna keep going because, my beliefs are my beliefs, and I can't shake my beliefs. I'm not gonna become a different person suddenly. Even if I started another channel and talked about news and information, I would still believe thoroughly and completely that we're destroying the planet and the biosphere, and we have a limited amount of time left. That wouldn't change, so I wouldn't stop talking about it. Anyways. However, on the climate change side, people just don't freaking get with they're just like stuck in some world where conspiracy theories are, whatever. Anything on the side of anything that smacks ever so slightly of something Trumpian, they just immediately reject. It's ridiculous. People live in mental boxes, and whatever mental box you choose to live in could be your demise, or could just be a way for you to fall into some kind of trap in the future. Anyways, hopefully I'm not rambling too much. But as I said the other day, right, like there are a lot of, even in my own life, like I can fall into, rabbit holes, or even things that are not really rabbit holes, like just things I might be into gathering information on in life, on the internet, whatever. And down the road I realize like, oh well, not everything about this is completely up and up on the up and up, or not everything about this is completely true, not everything about this is as it seems. And when that realization dawns on me, I feel a little bit like, oh geez, I feel a little bit gullible, I feel a little bit naive. But what are you going to do? You go forward based, based on the best evidence that you have at hand, and you do your best with it. Anyways, case in point. What's up, Rock Finners? I see you. Yeah, when Marjorie Taylor Greene is our anti-war voice, you know things are dark. Yeah. Well, and it's a mixed up, wacky, topsy-turvy kind of world, right? Just quickly, the reason why I'm considering starting another channel or doing another channel or doing something different is that, I would like to reach more people. I feel like I'm talking to the same 30 people every day. And I can't seem to break. I don't know if that's just censorship or if that is just the particular way in which I approach information or the subject matter at hand, that, I just can't seem to break out of this circle of like the same 30 people that I'm talking to. You all are awesome. You guys are true believers. You guys are like the team, the squad. It's great. But I would like my channel to expand. I would like to talk to more people. And so it's frustrating for me because I'm trying to break out of this like very small box I'm in as far as who I'm talking to. Because I think I have a different take on information or the relevance of information that other people don't have. I think it's an important take. And I love talking to y'all. I just would like more people to be able to tune in. Although, it could just all be censorship. It could all just be like, I don't know. But it seems to me, Twitter is a good gauge because I get 2 followers on Twitter and then 1 unfollows me immediately because it's either 2 followers I get on Twitter. One person sees, I'm posting about, the truth of a political situation or whatever, and they're like, this guy seems pretty good. And then I post something about climate change or maybe several things about climate change. They're like, F this guy, I'm out of here, right? Or the other person that follows me is, this guy seems to be into climate change. And he's pretty cool. Yeah, I'm into it. And then I post something about COVID or something else, right? And they're like, I'm out of here. It's like, that's what happens to me. I see it happening like in real time all the time. So that's frustrating to me, right? I just feel like I'm talking to people and people just run into this wall, like they can't stand climate change or they can't stand, if you're a climate change aware person, you can't stand the political takes. It's like all of you live in a box. All of you just live in a frickin' silo, and it's just frustrating. It's really frustrating. Use my channel name in other chats. We'll advertise channel. Sure. Selling. Yeah, I know. Yeah, I don't know. David Feldman. I don't know who David Feldman is. Has live chats and or comments under posted video. Who is David Feldman? Yeah, I don't know. I just can't seem to really break out of this. He's a comedian. I'm not a comedian. Yeah, he's talking about news, politics, commentary, etc., 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 etc. I'm sure he's probably not talking about climate change. I can guarantee you he's not leading with climate change. I can guarantee you. Cutting edge pro Biden. Okay. He's pro Biden. Yeah. I mean, you guys are awesome. Don't, seriously, I really appreciate that you all show up every day and hang out with me. I mean, like, it makes me feel like I'm doing something right. It makes me feel like, y'all want to hear what I got to say. That's cool. It's cool. Most of my issues with YouTube have to do with just complete and utter suppression, right? Yeah. I appreciate all your help, guys. I know you guys are like super into helping me get more viewers. I don't know. It's a tough one. Climate change is even more unpopular than ever. Climate change was an unpopular subject 4 or 5 years ago when I started this channel. I started this channel almost 7 years ago. Yeah, about 7 years ago. Yeah, I think that's about right. Probably about 7 years ago. I started this channel 7 years ago, and pre-COVID, climate change was an unpopular subject, but it was a little more popular, right? Started channel 50 Shades of Ecocide. Yeah. Well, and the thing is that it's making me feel like I should just, if I'm going to do a climate change channel, I should just specifically talk about climate change and nothing else. That's fine, but I got other things I'm thinking about too, right? It's not just climate change. Surely it's an important subject, and obviously I'm still very keyed into it, but there are other things that are going on. And it's hard to talk about what's going on in the world. It's hard to talk about climate change without bringing in other things that are going on in the world. You just can't you can't live in a box. I appreciate, yeah, obsolete. I know. I appreciate you. I mean, you guys, as I said, you guys are awesome. You guys, support the show. You push people, towards the show. What I was saying was pre-COVID, pre-COVID, climate change was an unpopular subject, but had some legs. You had Extinction Rebellion. You had kind of like, and you had a lot of there was kind of a momentum of awareness around it, right? People were really keying into what how bad climate change was. People are keying into how bad climate change is, not was, is. And I don't know. There just seemed to be a lot more like awareness around it. But after, as COVID started happening, there's just a lot of, people really got divided. And people really got very angry at the powers that be and anything that the powers that be had to say, anything that they were pushing. There was, that is a real thing. It's a real thing that is out there, that people are really very, very skeptical, very skeptical of anything that the powers that be are pushing on us, right? It's real, and it's actually completely understandable. So in that like torrent of dislike and distrust of what the people are pushing on us, man, climate change just got sucked up into that torrent, and it's like anything climate change, people are just like, out of my face with that, right? People are just like, no, no, no. So it's become a very, very unpopular subject. And so, unfortunately, because it's super real. But you cannot be you can't be unaware or ignorant to the fact that people just do not want to hear about climate change, do not want to talk about climate change, and basically don't believe it. And so when I said, um, yesterday I was talking about, I mean, basically right now, conspiracy wins. That's the title of the show. Whether it's true or not, whether it's true or not, that's a problem, right? Whether it's true or not, right now, conspiracy wins, and you have had for 3 years, major and minor alternative news outlets saying conspiracy theorists are right, have been proven right on everything, right? So whether it's true or not, conspiracy wins. You have to acknowledge that. You cannot live in the world of information and not acknowledge that conspiracy wins right now. Right now, conspiracy wins, even if it's ridiculous. It's just the truth. And, so leaving people to kind of try to sift through what's happening, what's not happening. That's what I've been trying to do, attempting to do. And because my viewership seems to shrink, by the day. I mean, you guys are here. We have a solid core following. That doesn't change, but it feels like the kind of fringe viewership that brings in new followers that is shrinking by the day, because conspiracy wins, and because people don't want to hear it, and people are so divided and so siloed, they just cannot cross the divide of well, I understand that they're lying to us, but maybe climate change is an issue, or climate change people going climate change is such an issue, but maybe I should bring on, maybe I should bring in these other viewpoints a little bit. Maybe I should try to understand why people are thinking these things. Stewart says extinction was high-minded, maybe the problem. Yeah. Well, and also people don't. Well, here's another thing. I know I'm going long. We'll probably go a little, possibly long today. Absolutely nobody wants to hear about extinction, right? And wrapped up in the conspiracy, the distrust of all things elite is the idea that the planet is overpopulated and humans are decimating the planet to death. To us, that seems pretty obvious, but to most people, they will not. People are rejecting that idea outright, and there's nothing you can say. There is nothing you can say. There's nothing you can persuade people with. There's no, people are just reject that idea that, humans, not that humans are devouring the earth to death, but there's too many humans, anything along those lines, anything along those lines, people just reject outright. You have to be aware of that. You have to be aware of that. And so it has become, if you believe that that we're in overshoot, you are you are part of a dwindling few people that understand this, or that are willing to take this on. And that's where we're at. That's where we're at in the world, pretty much. Are you saying I say funny shit? That's good. So once in a while I say funny shit. I'm not a comedian, but once in a while I say funny shit. Just checking out. I can never check out who's watching on Twitter because they don't really tell me. But seems to be some folks on Twitter. So hello, people on Twitter. I see you people on call-in. Has anyone seen a starfish lately or even know what one is? I should wear a suit and a tie. Will that make me more believable? I don't know. Yeah. So that, that's kind of where I'm at with the whole thing. But let's go through some, every once in a while, sometimes, I have these periods of maybe I should do something different. For the meantime, we're here every day talking about the things that need to be talked about, right? Obsolete Optics says, what kind of moron would deny that rich and powerful people conspire to achieve ever-increasing wealth and control? That kind of moron. Yeah, that kind of moron. I have an inkling of an idea to start another channel that's just basically a news channel. I mean, even though this is a news channel, it says Black Bear News. It's just news. Start a news channel and, maybe slip in some climate change here and there, but maybe leave it alone just to see what happens. Just as a litmus test, just as a let's see what happens kind of thing. I don't know. Who knows? Didn't I do that 2 years ago? I think I tried to do that 2 years ago. I didn't have, I just didn't have the energy to keep it going. But there is, so much misinformation out there, right? And not all of it comes from way on high, right? There's information that poses as people talking about, as just regular people talking about the realities of the world, right? There's misinformation couched as that. And you got to sift through that stuff too. You really can't just be like, well, anybody who's against the elite is my kind of, I mean, I get a pretty good mix on Twitter of right and left. I probably more right stuff on my Twitter feed. I'm guessing, but because I have so much climate change things happening too, and also lefty, I follow a lot of lefty political folks. So no, pretty good balance. But man, there are people on the right will believe all kinds of real nutty stuff. Of course, we know this. But people on the left believe all kinds of nutty stuff. We know this. Yes, obsolete or bad people, they only connived and conspired in the past. Not so much anymore. We don't do that kind of stuff anymore. We're better. We've evolved. Yeah, let's go through a couple of stories. So this also actually prompted a lot of the thought about what I'm saying right now. Steve Austin, who I really like. I really like Steve Austin. I follow him. He said, this is where we're at. A livable climate is collapsing at an astonishing rate. And yet, he's retweeting U.S. Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene calls for an end to the chemtrail program. Well, and I was like, what's the problem here, Steve Austin, professor? Because this is such a huge point of discussion in my real life. Like when I turn off this camera and I talk to the people around me, people are talking about this all the time. People on other platforms and other spheres are talking about what the F is going on in the sky. Like, what are they doing? It is so obvious that something is going on. These are not contrails. These are not naturally occurring. Okay? Not at all. I mean, and again, I don't want to disparage people that don't understand this or that don't want to, that want to go like, no way. They're not doing that. Well, I would never do that. I don't want to disparage people like that, and I'm certainly not trying to disparage Steve Austin. But I said, I think this is where I lost a follower at. I said, don't you don't believe they're already doing solar radiation management? Because it looks kind of obvious that they are. Like, to me, it looks really, really freaking obvious that they're doing it. It looks freaking obvious. Like, I don't understand. If you are not, if you look at the sky and you go like, that looks normal, I don't know what realm of the planet are you living on? Because that does not look normal. And you know where that comes from. That is not, those aren't clouds. Those are not clouds. Okay. Period. Anyways, again, Marjorie Taylor Greene, I like her or don't. She's not somebody I'd spend a lot of time, I don't like follow her, and I don't spend a lot of time, wondering what's up with Marjorie Taylor Greene. However, this is a legitimate concern. This is a legitimate thing. Something is going on. It's obvious to everybody that something is going on. Can we get a little bit of truth or revelation on what's going on here? Because people don't really have any, and the people in the climate change realm, there's a lot of people that do not want to acknowledge that this is a wild-eyed, tinfoil hat wearing conspiracy, that these are just naturally formed. Okay. Well, usually planes follow a flight path. Usually contrails naturally occurring contrails happen like way up, not down cloud level. All right, we can go through the whole thing. Anyways, I just got into a brief discussion, and thank you, Steph C, for jumping in to kind of like, I said, it looks kind of obvious that something's going on, right? That they're in. I just asked him, you don't think that they're doing this already? And Steph C was like, oh yeah, they're everywhere, blah blah blah. We had a little bit back and forth. He said they don't seem to be working. If they're doing it, they don't seem to be doing much. Well, what if it would be way, way hotter if they weren't doing it? What if they've been doing it for because they have been doing it for several years. What if they've been doing it for several years because they know what's going on, and they're just trying to, milk a couple more years of industrial civilization out of the planet. They want things to stay somewhat stable for a little while longer so everybody can get their bunkers prepared. Anyways, I don't see, it just seems, this is a big divide, right? And this is a big divide in the people I talk to on this channel. Not you guys. You guys, a lot of you guys understand this, but a lot of people don't want to understand this. They don't want to take it on, and they don't want to hear it. I don't know what to tell you. So, here we are at a crossroads where there's, you want to believe in science, but you also want to believe, you want to believe your lying eyes, right? You want to believe the things you're seeing with your eyeballs, that they're, deny. No, oh no, we totally wouldn't be doing solar radiation management. There are laws against that. You think that the people in charge obey laws. That's cute. It's cute. Anyways, but anyways, there's a lot of, obviously there's a lot of weird theories out there. There are a lot of things that are a little closer to the truth. You can't reject them all. You can't believe them all. I've said this thousands of times. If you believe them all, you're probably wrong. If you reject them all, you're definitely wrong. So somewhere in the middle is the truth, and it's up to you, fellow citizen of the planet Earth, to figure out what the hell is really going on. Deline Parole, mysteriously, the chemtrails only happened 2 days before the weather. Interesting. Well, we're supposed to be. I mean, I don't know about that one because I see them all the time. I see them all the time. Mostly, they follow the path of the sun. Oh, whoa, totally natural. but maybe they're. I mean, who knows? We don't really know what they're doing. We really don't know the full scope and extent of what they're doing, and it would be really great if we could get some information on that. Who knows what it is? It could be solar radiation management. It could be part. Weather manipulation has long been a sought after point of control for the military. That is just blatantly true. So if they know how to manipulate the weather, why? And they do in wartime. What makes you think they wouldn't do it in peacetime? Because they're good people. Again, tell me more about that one. Explain that one a little more to me, because I'd like to know all the evidence of them being like super cool, great people who would never do that. Never do stuff like that. People who would never destroy the planet for profit. People who would never destroy the planet for profit and control. Tell me more about the good people running the show. Jesus. It's unfortunate because I think that the unwillingness for people who are formally educated to take on ideas that are outside of the realm of academia or accepted science, it actually turns that into a liability. It turns your paper, your degree, your place in academia as a liability to actually understanding what's going on. Right? Do you understand that? Can you get to that? It's a liability, which means you're less likely to understand what's really happening in the world if you are a person who thinks that you're in academia and you think you know what's going on because of the things you learned and that your status and what's accepted, blah blah blah. That's a liability. You want to throw that away. You want to get rid of that as quickly as possible. And again, I'm not. I like Steve Austin. I enjoy his channel. I follow him. I really respect Steve Austin. But I have to say that people that put professor in front of their names, because there are other people too, not just targeting Steve Austin. It's a little funny to me because when you put professor in your name, you're almost absolutely guaranteed to be completely dumbass wrong about some shit. I'm a professor, right? Like there's other people that I see with professor in their names and I'm like, all right, I'm going to wait for you to just completely just walk into a freaking mental wall really soon. And then I'm going to laugh because, of course, you're a professor. You're the professor. I don't know. It's just funny to me. But the point is, I'm not trying to, again, I'm not trying to disparage anything or anybody. The point is for better understanding of what is going on so that people can take control of their lives or possibly, take control of the planet, for the betterment of, people here and not for the benefit of the people in charge, right? That's, that's the goal. That's what we want to do. Jackson Messer says, if we can realize that we are not the highest civilization in history and that we have evidence of the past, we can learn the tricks to true sustainability. Certainly. Obsolete says, Harvard University of Medicine had to retract or correct multiple papers on cancer because some 32-year-old dude with a blog exposed them. Yeah, there were papers being, this wasn't just Harvard. Was it just Harvard? I think in other places that's been, people have submitted papers that were totally bogus and they got published. So there goes your peer review process. There goes your whole foundation of what you think is true and not true. Guess that doesn't mean anything. So tell me more. Tell me more about how, you're so clued into to reality. Anyways, it's a tough one, man. It's tough knowing what's going on and how to digest the information and turn it into something that's understandable and intelligible and like not lose your mind. It's not easy. Joseph Wood on Rockfin says the authority of truth is Pinocchio, and the masses are a horny, uncouth woman shouting "liar, liar, liar" very loudly while sitting on authority's face. That's quite an image. That's pretty good. Anyways, and maybe it has always been this way, right? Maybe this has always been this way through history, right? Where there's I think it is. I think that's true. It has always been this way. The who was it? The winners write history. The winners get to write the history, right? The winners of wars or the quote unquote winners in history they get to write the history and tell you what is true or not, and that's not necessarily we know that now. As time goes forward, we understand that more and more. Let's keep going. Anyways, I thought that was funny. Atmospheric River, a Pineapple Express atmospheric river will hit California tomorrow. The first of two Pineapple Expresses expected to slam into the state over the next week, bringing heavy rain, mountain snow, high winds, flooding issues. Remember the ARC, atmospheric river times 1,000 scenario that somebody proposed last week, which could happen, could not happen. But we're supposed to get a big one though next week, like a real big one. So. Again, if you live in California, if you live in the area, just, take a little extra precautions and keep one eye open. And get ready to possibly deal with some life disruption. Pineapple Express, blah, blah. We know what a Pineapple Express is. Anyways. So next week, we're getting like 4 days straight or something. It's going to rain dank butts. For sure, bro. Max Wilbert. This thread is about a chemical found in tires. 6-PPD quinone, which is now recognized as one of the most toxic chemicals ever seen in the aquatic environment. And they're in your tires, so have a nice day. It kills coho salmon, brook trout, rainbow trout, and white-spotted char. Their deaths are not pretty. It's torture. We're going to come back and look at that thread if we have time. Navy. So we've been talking about the fact that the military is having a hard time getting recruits, and that's great. Hopefully they don't resort to the draft. They don't want to do a draft again because Vietnam pretty much tore the country. They got rid of the mandatory draft after Vietnam because they were like, yeah, we don't want that again. So they decided maybe they'd try to pay people to be in the military, but nobody wants to be in the military. Why? Because it's a bunch of bullshit. Navy again lowers requirements as it struggles to meet recruitment goals. The U.S. Navy is now accepting recruits without high school diplomas or GEDs as long as they score 50 or above on the qualification test. Concerns about lower performing recruits washing out of boot camp or causing disciplinary problems have been raised, but the Navy Chief of Personnel believes the risk is acceptable. Last year, the Navy fell short of its enlistment goal, prompting the decision to expand the pool of potential sailors. Awesome. Don't even need a high school diploma. Just walk on in, get yourself in the Navy. The war drums are banging. They are beating those drums. And actually probably could do a little more, spend a little more time on this because it's a serious thing. Iran has reportedly sent a message via Switzerland that if Americans make even the slightest attack on their soil, human casualties or not, it will escalate matters beyond repair. Local Arab media reports that IRGC believes in a few hours the U.S. Army will carry out its response strikes. Another news, National Security Agency has been accused of buying Americans' internet browsing data without warrants, according to documents released. I feel like that's old news, but maybe that's just me. Jimmy Dort posts this. It begins. This will not... okay, so we might jump off YouTube in a few minutes, all right? It begins. This will not end well for Pfizer, Moderna, or Fauci. Bravo, Slovakia. Slovakia Prime Minister Robert Fico, who has just announced a COVID inquiry that will investigate the vaccine, excess deaths, the EU Pfizer deal, and Big Pharma's ability to control the government. I might have to actually jump off before I even cover these. I think the last one was probably too much. Let's see. Let's see. Y'all here? You with me? We're going to go a few more minutes. Probably go a few more minutes. I don't need a new channel. I just need my own internet. Yeah. I made my own internet. Come on over. It's actually not a bad idea. Right? Because the way that the internet works, and people have already talked about this. It's actually not a... Right? There's internet, everything on the internet is like one channel, right? Everybody's on this one channel. How hard would it be to make another channel? Like, you know what I mean? And there is, you have direct peer-to-peer. There's ways to make other channels. So not a bad idea. Not a bad idea at all. That's actually a great idea. Jackson Messer, I was just talking to a friend last night. Look at the oldest building and realize they were more advanced if you want to learn how to build sustainable. There's a lot of interesting talk about that. And I don't know enough about it to speak at length, but I don't know if anybody's heard about the idea of the Tartarians or anything like that. But anyways, a lot of chatter lately about how buildings were built in a way more advanced way with lesser tools, right? So, but maybe that's just a sign of the devolution of the human race. Maybe we're devolving. Our technology is getting better, but our desire to do something really great with it is actually waning. Okay. Not just spiritual, it was practical and functional. It gave enough electricity and data transmission for high-level circulation. Interesting, okay. The helium network is an alternate internet? Yeah, it kind of is. Kind of, yeah. And yeah. I think there's there are ways to do it. I think there are ways to do it. And I think that's a really good area of study for people, for independent uh, computer minded folks to get into, is creating like alternate networks, alternate encrypted networks, alternate non-hackable networks. I don't know, whatever you want to say. Okay. YouTuber is going to leave you for Rockfin for a few minutes. Before I do that, the best ways to support the channel, and I do appreciate all your support, are buymeacoffee.com/blackbearnews, Cash App at Red Llama Music, Venmo at Kevin Sandbloom, paypal.me/Kevin Sandbloom, and you can Zelle me at kevinsandbloom@protonmail.com. Okay. YouTubers, we'll see you tomorrow at the regular time. Peace.